Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're embarking on a journey into the absolute building blocks of life itself. We're talking about the ultimate scientific adventure, pursuing a PhD in molecular biology. If you've ever looked at a complex biological problem and thought, you know what, I want to be the one to solve that, you are in exactly the right place. Are you ready to map the future of medicine? Because honestly, that's what we are really talking about here. We aren't just discussing another academic degree to hang on your wall. We're framing this PhD journey as an epic quest to solve the world's most pressing biological challenges, everything from genetic diseases to global pandemics. Okay, let's dive right into this. Here is our roadmap for today. We'll start by defining what this degree actually is, then we'll hit the research frontier, look at the scientific toolkit you're going to need, and figure out how to navigate admissions and get funded. Finally, we'll weigh the tough realities of research against the incredible life waiting for you after graduation. Let's kick things off with Section 1, What is a molecular PhD? Before we get into the fun stuff, we need to establish a solid baseline of what this degree entails and the level of commitment it's going to demand from you. At its core, a PhD in molecular biology is an advanced research degree where you investigate biological processes right down at the molecular level. But here's the real kicker. This is a major transition. You're no longer just a student soaking up information from a textbook. You are transforming into a completely independent investigator. Under expert supervision, your goal is to uncover brand new knowledge, publish your findings, and wrap it all up in a comprehensive doctoral thesis. Now, practically speaking, you might be wondering, how long is this going to take? Well, it really depends on where in the world you go. In places like Europe, as well as Australia and New Zealand, you're looking at a pretty focused 3 to 4 year sprint. But if you look at the United States or Canada, it's more of a 5 to 6 year marathon, usually because those programs include a lot more coursework and teaching rotations before you dive headfirst into your research. All right, moving to Section 2, the research frontier. This is where the energy really shifts, because this is where we get to talk about the diverse, cutting-edge realms of science that you get to choose to conquer. The sheer scope of molecular biology is honestly mind-blowing. You could be in molecular genetics, looking at DNA repair and gene regulation. You might dive into cancer biology, hunting down new biomarkers or targeted therapies. There's genomics, bioinformatics, cell biology, and virology, where you could be working on the front lines to develop the next crucial vaccine. Whether it's analyzing complex immune responses or literally engineering new biological systems from scratch in synthetic biology, you are tackling major real-world challenges. What's truly exciting is that these are the absolute fastest-growing emerging topics today. We're talking about the vanguard of modern scientific discovery. Things like CRISPR and genome editing, integrating artificial intelligence directly into your analysis, and developing RNA therapeutics, which we've all seen completely change the world recently. By focusing your PhD on areas like single-cell genomics or precision medicine, you are positioning yourself at the absolute forefront of the next scientific revolution. So on to Section 3, your scientific toolkit. Because let's face it, you cannot conquer the frontier without the right gear. This section covers the essential weapons you'll need to master the intense experimentation ahead. First up are your hands-on vet lab skills. These are absolutely crucial. You won't just be extracting DNA and RNA or maintaining cell cultures. You'll be interrogating the very fabric of cells using complex machinery for things like flow cytometry and next-generation sequencing. Techniques like PCR, Western blotting, and ELISAs aren't just bullet points for your resume. These physical skills are literally how you coax secrets out of molecules. But hey, it's not all pipettes and test tubes anymore. Modern biology generates massive data sets, which brings us to your dry lab toolkit. You have to be able to analyze and interpret all that information. Mastering programming languages like Python or R, navigating Linux environments, and running complex sequence analyses and statistical modeling. When you combine all that with your wet lab skills, you become an incredibly formidable dual-threat scientist. Let's bring it down to earth a bit for Section 4, admissions and funding. It's great to have all this passion, but how do you actually get your foot in the door of these doctoral programs? Unsurprisingly, you're going to need a relevant bachelor's or master's degree and a really strong academic record. But grades aren't everything. Programs want proof of resilience. Demonstrating that you already know your way around a lab, backed up by a compelling motivation letter and strong academic references, is what truly sets you apart. A perfect GPA is great, sure, but showing you can pitch a full research proposal in an interview proves you are ready to be a future investigator. Now, here is a major point you don't want to miss: the funding. This is a massive piece of the puzzle. Many PhD positions, particularly over in Europe, are fully funded. Look at places like Sweden, Germany, Denmark, the Netherlands, Finland, Norway, and Switzerland. And I don't just mean a tuition waiver. We're talking an actual monthly salary, health insurance, research funding, even travel support for conferences. You are essentially hired as an early-stage researcher. It's an incredible setup. To land one of those coveted spots, you need an actionable strategy. Keep those grades up and build a pro CV. Get into the lab and learn some basic programming on the side. Read the latest papers, and if you can, publish or present at a conference. Hustle for internships or research assistant gigs. Reach out directly to potential supervisors whose work excites you. And finally, prep like crazy for those interviews and proposals. You do that, and your application will be undeniable. Okay, Section 5, the realities of research. I want to keep it totally real with you here. We've talked about the excitement and the funding, but it's time to take a serious, realistic look at the actual day-to-day grind. We really have to weigh the incredible rewards against the stark realities, because a PhD is not something you want to romanticize. Yes, the advantages are huge. You gain advanced expertise, publish papers, build international collaborations, and set yourself up for leadership roles or top-tier industry jobs. But it is a grueling test of endurance. It's a massive, long-term commitment filled with intensive experimentation that, frankly, fails a lot. You will face intense pressure to publish, fierce competition for funding, and the constant stress of balancing multiple projects. You need to be prepared for that. But let's bring the energy back up with Section 6, Life After Your PhD. This is the horizon waiting for you once you've weathered the storm and finally defended that thesis. Your journey could take place on some of the grandest stages of global science. We're talking about places like the Karolinska Institute, Uppsala University, ETH Zurich, the University of Copenhagen, the Max Planck Society, or Oxford. Doing your PhD at or transitioning to institutions of this caliber means you are working alongside the brightest minds in the world, using state-of-the-art facilities that literally define the bleeding edge of global research. And the career opportunities, they stretch way beyond traditional academia. Sure, you could become a university professor, but you could also drive early-stage drug discovery as a pharmaceutical scientist, or oversee massive data projects in bioinformatics. You might manage clinical trials, bringing new therapeutics to market, or climb the corporate ladder to lead entire teams as a principal scientist or an R&D manager. The demand for these advanced analytical skills right now is absolutely off the charts. Which brings us to our final thought and the ultimate question. Will you answer the call to solve tomorrow's biological challenges? You now know the path, you know the tools required, the realities you'll face, and the immense rewards waiting at the end. The frontier of molecular biology is waiting for its next great independent investigator. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I really hope this sparks the beginning of an incredible scientific adventure for you.